Good evening. Welcome to a special Friday night edition of the Power Hour. I'm Steve. C. Red is not with us tonight. He is out of town, but he'll be back next week. We, of course, have Chicago Knockouts superstar Rachel, and we have Rion Scales. But tonight, our very special guest, daughter of 1,000 maniacs, the one, the only, Shawna Reed. Hello!
Hi.
You are coming back to our humble area this Saturday night for a little brawl at the brewery activity. We are so happy to have you back in Illinois. Have you missed us?
I have, I got a little taste again when I was on POW like a month ago, and it was like almost like coming like home for a second. So yeah, because I used to wrestle in Illinois all the time, and then I moved, and like it's like, oh well, now yeah, so a little bit further. So I'm excited.
Well, we're glad you're back. I had Jimmy Blaze on this show last week, and he said, hey, be sure you ask Shawna what promotion booked her in Illinois first. So I'll lead with that question from the masses. Hey, Shawna, what promotion booked you in Illinois first?
I mean, I think it's this really rinky-dink little promotion, like owned by this owned by this weirdo. Like this guy that just kept stalking my page is I think his name's like Tim Ray's. Oh, Jimmy, maybe Jim Blake.
Oh, maybe Jimmy Blaze.
So Pal Entertainment, it's like home. I love him.
That is the best answer we've had in a while on this show. That was very well done. The last time I crossed paths with you was back in 2019 at Global Professional Wrestling, and at that time you were not the daughter of 1,000 maniacs. You were merely just a pretty little psycho. And now, you have been everywhere. I mean, we watched you go through Dustin Rhodes' school and thrive there like no other. And then we've seen you everywhere. We've seen you on AEW Dark, SmackDown. You've been a little bit of everywhere. Take us through your journey over the last 3 years as you have become a legitimate superstar.
It has definitely been a freaking crazy journey, obviously, with moving, with now wrestling pretty regularly over in the UK as well. So it's kind of like, oh shit, like where am I at this weekend? Am I in a freaking different country, or am I like 3 hours down the road? Like, um, but yeah, it's just been crazy. And then going to Dustin school at the beginning of COVID, well, during COVID and stuff, definitely like helped because felt like I was at like a standstill and just everything. I was still working, like doing extra talent for WWE, but like there was like nothing happening. And so going to Dustin school definitely like reopened up everything, reopened some doors, and like kind of reminded me like why I'm doing this, and definitely was worth going to. So that helped.
What did you get? Now, I've heard a lot of people go and train with Dustin and be part of his school, and I've heard different responses from different people depending on who they are. What was the most important thing you got out of your training there?
Well, I'm really happy I was in his very first class ever,
Oh,
because yeah, so I was literally in his first class ever. I was his valedictorian. I was everything, which was really really cool. He actually offered me a training job, but at that time I couldn't do it. I had other commitments. But like, so like I said, I'm really happy I was in his first class, because now that I've gone back to I've gone to see a few of his more recent classes, and they're doing like more like obviously like flippy stuff, and just because that's what people do nowadays. But when I went to his class first, when I tell you he very much like hit on the basics, and like that's what it was. It was actually learning the basics and actually learning wrestling, actually learning those things. It wasn't, oh, go to the top rope, do 5 flips and a moonsault. It wasn't that. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something like obviously the basics that I already knew, but I wanted to be more intense. I wanted that kind of thing. And he definitely like helped polish me up. And also hearing from somebody like of that caliber, like, I don't know why you're not signed yet. And then someone who literally, put me in the same category as some of these like legendary females, and was good to hear. But like I said, he really put a lot in me, put a lot of trust in me. I was the first person he took to AEW, everything. Like, it, but what he did for me was pretty much help me get more intense and definitely refresh the basics, which is what I wanted. So yeah.
It's pretty uncanny. I mean, obviously, we're familiar with your body of work prior to that, but it seemed like when you came out of there and you were headed in a trajectory kind of off the charts, you had changed a lot about not only your character, about the way you were working. I mean, we could tell it was still you, but it's almost like you had a new focus and drive and a new energy about you. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so like everybody throughout their career, like they go through so many like different character changes or so many different, like they don't know where they were at. I thought I knew the path that I wanted to be on. I thought I knew what character I wanted. I thought I did, but I didn't. Obviously, like when I'm not out in the wrestling ring, I'm a very shy, very backwards kind of person. But when I get in the wrestling ring, I want to be thrown out of my comfort zone, which is why I do this crazy character, and go over the top. It gives me that moment to become that person. And like I said, right now, even like literally right now, I am going through once again another character change. Like I like the whole Daughter of a Thousand Maniacs because I'm a big Freddy Krueger mark. Like I love Freddy Krueger, so that's where it came from. Obviously, son of 100 maniacs, daughter of 1,000 maniacs. Um, but I'm like, you know what? Like I still want to do that character, but I want to revamp it a little bit. Maybe not be called that anymore, but like I have a whole new thing I'm wanting to do. So I'm actually going to start doing that probably starting tomorrow.
Oh my God. So Illinois gets to see a brand new thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it'll be I mean, I'm obviously gonna have my gear, the same gear and shit, but I am definitely going to try out this new kind of character. It's still gonna be a crazy character, but like try out like a new thing. We'll see how it works.
Well, I can tell you this about the place you're working tomorrow. You're working at the Steam Hollow Brewery, and it is very much unlike any venue in our area because it is a legitimately echoey space. So everything is amplified and the crowd is insane. We would used to do these shows with the band. So the band would play for a while, we'd wrestle for a while, band would play for a while. They wanted no more of that. They said, we want wrestling and wrestling only. So this is our debut of a wrestling show only at this bar. And the fans are crazy and the fans are wild and it's loud and it's chaotic. And your crazy is going to fit right in with that crowd because they are so very character driven. I can't wait for you to see what awaits you at Steam Hollow. Plus the beverages are tasty as well. That doesn't
Yes.
hurt.
Yes.
So you'll enjoy that. So when you got to go work at places like AEW Dark and things like that, when a lot of people will dismiss AEW Dark as being, a training ground anyway, but I don't think that that's true necessarily. But getting there and working in front of big crowds, did that change your perspective on things? Because I mean, working in the indies, you can work in front of, pretty big crowds, 300, 400 sometimes, but to work in front of, a stadium full of people is a whole different experience. What were your first thoughts when you walked out and there was that kind of crowd?
I'm not gonna lie, like I wish I could remember what I felt because I think it was just obviously such a like it's overwhelming. And then like once you're in the ring, like you because they preload you. So once you're in the ring and like these people are out there, like you genuinely like you zone out. And it's just like I don't realize I'm literally wrestling in front of like 10,000 people right now. Like you completely zone out. Um I pretty much got killed by Jade in my hometown of Cincinnati. So like, and when I got loaded, when I tell you everybody started, like 10,000 people started chanting my name while I was just dark in the freaking ring. Like that actually, that opened up. And I was like, oh my God, like just this, like was amazing. Like I got almost a tear in my eye. I knew I was getting killed. Like I didn't even get a freaking shot in on Jade. But like right. But like I was like, here I am. My mom and my dad, like Moxley actually got my mom and my dad tickets second to come to and sat them in the second row. So I'm like, like if I never get signed, if I never make it on the big stage, literally like at least mom and dad saw me once on a bigger platform. Yeah, once again, I got killed, didn't get any offense, but like here it is, I think that's pretty cool to see your kid do that.
You were
So
there, you were present, and everybody in your hometown knew who you were. And that's got to be very satisfying. All the hard work and all the hours in the gym and the training on the road to have that moment of validation that, you know what, this is not too big for you. You belong there. That's just got to be very satisfying.
yeah, it felt great. And then like now on like the last one that I did, I wrestled Anna Jay before she got hurt and injured and all that stuff. And like they had me be heel, and then all of a sudden, like I found myself as after she won, I started going off and healing up on freaking fans in the front row. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be freaking doing this. Like, but like I literally was going after him just because that's my character. I'm like, shit, I can't. Like, Shawna, you are not on an indie show. You do not do this right now. Like, so I had to remind myself.
That you're there for a purpose. I get that. So you have been traveling. You've become quite successful across the pond in England. How did you get an opportunity to go, and how have you gotten an opportunity? Because I saw a championship belt around somebody's waist with the British flag around it. So that means you have to go there regularly and defend said title. So how does that happen?
So, I worked in the UK at least once a year before COVID, and then COVID obviously screwed all that up. And then the company that I worked for, the promoter, like he got like bashed in the speaking out movement. So that company like went away, and they tried to open up again and tried to book me, but I'm like, no, we're good, thanks. But this company that I work for, a lot of the time when I'm over there now, is called, I've wrestled for UKW and then UBW. I've only wrestled UBW one time, but UKW I do regularly when I'm over there. And pretty much like I met this guy in Dustin's class when I went back for one of the showcases that Dustin does, and he was in his third class, and all the top students in Dustin's class became a faction, so we're called the Armada. So like,
Wow.
yeah, like five of us all just joined up. Like we're all from different classes, but like we're like, let's just freaking do that. Oh shit, hello, Superman.
That's Rion. He's our big podcast guy. He's been sending photos from you while he drove over here. But you're such a good guest. He wanted to be here in person.
Love it.
So go on about the UK. I mean, you're a superstar there, right?
Kind of. I mean, maybe like they like I said, like me, and so now he's my boyfriend now, but like we're actually a tag team over there, and like so me and him were like the biggest heels over there. Like because he's from Scotland, and then me in the US, I'm just pretty much playing the American bitch, like like, and it's they just freaking hate us. And so they put the titles on me and him, like he was the heavyweight champ, and then I was the TV champ for a long time. But then I broke my wrist and I had to relinquish it because I couldn't go over there and defend it when I needed to. So I relinquished it. And then they just tried to turn me baby. They pretty much just made me babyface a few weeks ago. But like they never really turned me. I just showed up, and like they're like, we're gonna have you go against a heel girl, and it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, so you got to go out there and be the baby face. But I'm like, these people freaking hate me. Like I've literally like bashed these people. I've literally been horrible to these people. You've never given me a time to freaking like get them to like me, to go out there, because I'm wrestling this heel girl, but she's from there and she's there every single show. And I'm like, they're still gonna cheer her because they loathe me. And but I went out there and it was pretty much kind of back and forth. Like people were cheering her, people were cheering me, and like or booing her, and it just me and her just went out there and kicked each other's ass, and we're like, whatever, whoever they boo, whatever happens, just go out there and freaking do it, like, but it was fun, and it's fun to be able to go out there and be a tag team with my significant other, and then go out there and actually make really good friends that are pretty much now my closest friends, and they live in a freaking different country. So yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're called, okay, so when Ryan Matthews' face comes up, that means Rion's calling a timeout. Yes, sir. This is your first timeout. You have two more.
That's fine. Just out of curiosity, are you able to see the photos that are coming up?
Mm-mm.
Okay, when you get a chance, I feel like you'll appreciate this. Like, just because I'm trying to keep up with what's being said, but I have zero context. So I'm hoping as you're speaking, I caught this one. It'll make sense.
So
later.
you're assuming that she's going to watch this later. There's no guarantees.
Now I have to. I gotta know what pictures that you're putting up.
That's the only way she's watching it because she
I'm
wants to
just-
see her pictures.
Yeah, it's
I gotta know what pictures that I agreed to earlier in the freaking night.
You said you trusted him. We're going to test the trust. She's never
Yeah,
coming back on the show again, ever. It's never going to
it'll
happen.
be fine.
I don't know. I'm highly critical, and I have yet to see a photo that I'd be like, Rian, no. So
Thank you. You get it. You understand.
yes, I get it.
Rachel, any questions for Shawna that you might have? I could go on for 6 hours. We don't have 6 hours, so we're going to spin this along. But I don't want to cut you out. Do you have any questions for whatever this incarnation of Shawna Reed is about to be?
Oh, well, yeah, actually, because in roller derby, my gimmick is kind of similar and like crazy, maniacal, and that sort of thing. And do you do anything to get into that character? Do you find that you have trouble, like not necessarily trouble, but do you find yourselves having to do things to get out of the character? How is that process for you?
Oh, so I don't do anything. I get in the freaking ring. If the crowd if the crowd is into it, then I'm like, okay, cool. Here we are. But no, I do have a hard time getting out of it. Like, especially if I'm a heel, if I'm the bad guy, like I'm just like I'm a bitch the rest of the night. Like, I'm just in that mindset.
That's why I asked, because that happens to me where like afterwards I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was in my mode and I couldn't get out of it. So yeah, it's really nice to talk to somebody else with like a similar gimmick and like what that's like.
I mean, ask Steve. I freaking threw a dude's hat at his show and they came and like yelled at him and got in his face.
I have never, I was the character GM then as well. And I have never been chastised so vehemently for a fan that I needed to refund ticket money because she simply flipped his hat. And we went over the video and all she did was flip a hat. It's not like
I would have refused. I would have said, listen, it's audience participation. You're welcome. Have a good night.
Well, no, and he was like in my face, like being real, like saying bad things. So I was just like, well, you know what? Screw you, and went boop, and his head.
Well, then he's lucky he didn't get worse. So
right, exactly.
Again, like, you're welcome, no. Sir.
Yeah, I didn't touch you. I touched your hat.
Yes, she did. That's fair. The fact that you even remember that I was there the night that happened means the world to me. So thank you so very much.
Of course.
So this Saturday night, you are looking to achieve more gold because you are in a #1 contenders triple threat match for the Southland Championship Wrestling Women's title. And you've got your hands full. You've got some competitors that I have spoken to over the past couple of weeks, and they feel like you offer no threat. And I say, au contraire, there is a threat coming. You better be ready for that.
Warm, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen any of these girls. I don't even know who they are. Well, honestly, I did look up one of them because and like I was like, oh, okay. They don't think I'm the threat. Then I was like, all right, well, you'll see.
We both know differently about that. You will be fighting Angel, who has been a professional wrestler for quite a while. She was the women's champion of a company called PCW when I first started back in 2014. So we have kind of followed along the same lines here in Chicago. So I am very familiar with her. She's very good, but I am very interested to see how you guys coexist in the ring, because as evil and maniacal as you can be, she's got that evil and maniacal issue too. Plus, she has backup of her faction. So I suspect that you will have overwhelming odds. But then again, you are the queen of overwhelming odds. You don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to myself. I have like 20 voices in my head, so I have someone around 24/7. So
that's fair. And then your other opponent is a gigantic beast monster of popularity called the amazing Amazon Natasha Crane. And she is a force of nature and very popular in the Southland Championship Wrestling. So you've got a bad girl and a great girl, and then you. And somehow at some point in that night, after you guys have danced, one of you is going to be the number one contender moving into WrestleTopia, which is Southland Championship Wrestling's WrestleMania. So if you somehow find a way to be victorious, that would mean coming back next month to get a shot at the big title. How do you feel about all that?
Well, first you said the wrong words. You said somehow it's when I win and I come back next month.
That's fair.
Exactly. Like these girls might be way bigger than me. I've done my homework. They're both way bigger than me. I don't know about Natasha, but I know at least Angel's been in the business longer than me. And I've definitely been in groups where I've been in the ring where I've been the person that brought 5, 4, 3 people around ringside to mess with my opponents. So I'm pretty much, I know all the mind games there. Hell, I'm the queen of freaking mind games. So I don't, I'm not going to get distracted easily. Like I said, I am the smallest person in this match. I know I already got, people are going to be looking at me like she's got nothing. She's cute, but like, that's pretty much all she's got. But, I mean, that's where they underestimate me. And when I come out victorious and then I go on to win the championship next month, there's going to be a lot of people coming up and apologizing.
Oh, I've been telling everybody don't discount what this particular athlete brings to the table. I have seen this too many times before. So you're coming to Illinois, you're going to have this big match on Saturday, and you've got such a full schedule. What does the rest of 2023 hold for your new character, and wherever you're headed next?
I mean, I have bookings sporadically throughout the whole rest of the year. Like, there are some weekends I've decided to take some time off because obviously I've just been going pretty much every single weekend, like Thursday through Sunday for the past almost 8 years now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm maybe going to be like, I'll take some weekends off, but I got like pretty much still like most of my weekends booked. So I'm in just all different parts of the US for the rest of the year. So like, I literally look up my thing Monday and figure out where I am that weekend. So
do you like the travel? Does it work for you, or does it wear you down? I've heard people that travel say different things and have different opinions. Where do you stand when it comes? 'Cause that's a lot of travel.
yeah, so I used to love traveling, used to love it. Now I'm not so I'll do it, but like I'm just like crap. Like I'll get up in the morning and be like, oh, I gotta drive 5 hours. Ugh. Like but I used to love it, but I'll still do it.
It's funny you say that, because I remember a few years back in your social media posts, you would be at the airport, you'd have your coffee ready to go, raring to go. And now I see the pictures of you just kind of sitting there at the airport or, on the road. You're like, okay, here I go again. So
Yep.
you could
Onward.
see that the road wear it's real, but you're still loving every minute of it, right?
Oh God, yeah. I love the journey. I love seeing the places I've never gotten to see before. There's things that, you pass on the road that you're like, what the hell was that? Like, so it's really cool to see and like go new places, meet new people. Like, so I'm always thankful for that.
We're so very, very fortunate to have you coming to town this weekend. Everybody's excited to have you at SCW. There's a buzz when big superstars come in and guest on shows, and we appreciate that. And we need you this weekend, maybe more than we've needed in a little while, because this past week, we've all had to deal with loss in professional wrestling. We've all had to deal with things that we don't want to have to deal with. So when people go to shows this weekend, they're going to be going to see the talent and to enjoy it. But, there are going to be echoes of ghosts in arenas for a lot of people, maybe even for yourself a little bit as well. How have you been dealing with the loss of the two big superstars that we lost this week, both past and present?
Yeah, no, I never really met Terry. I've heard great things about him. So I mean, obviously that man has done so much for this business and he was around a long time. So I mean, we lost a legend and then we lost a freaking future legend last night, like gone way too freaking soon. I've worked with Bray quite a few times and he by far is the only person in the past 10 years that actually like with their character actually invoked an emotion in me. Like I used to be so uncomfortable like around him, around like I wouldn't even go around the freaking like when we were at conventions, I would avoid where he was because just the Bray Wyatt character freaked me out. And so like literally like when I became a worker and I got to meet him and got to like, you know, pick his brain, got to like work on shows with him and just get to know him as a person. It's like he was one of the best characters we've had in a while and that's what's lost on wrestling in general nowadays is like its character. And the fact is he had a great character and he literally was a great worker. So we lost a future legend and just it's so sad. Like I mean sometimes your demons catch up to you and then cause even harder problems that will, you know, eventually take that toll. And like so I don't think it wasn't his time, but you know,
You never know when your number is going to be called, and I think that was proven this past week. So here we are, wrestling 2023. You're a veteran now. You're a superstar now. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to go? How far is this journey going to take you in your mind?
Honestly, like, yeah, my goal is obviously everybody's goal, WWE or AEW, more WWE for me. If that doesn't happen, I would love to be a trainer. Or, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I genuinely think I only have maybe a few good years left. There's just been injuries and things that I'm noticing way more now that if I don't stop, if I don't slow down, I am going to be probably like brain dead by the time I'm freaking 50. And like, you know, there's a lot of issues. And I'm like, I'm gonna keep going for a few more years and hope for the best. But when my time is done, I will obviously be done. And I'd love to still be able to help train and stuff like that. So, but I mean, obviously the goal is a contract. So we'll see.
Hey, you never know. Like I said, it happens at unlikely times. We all know the Diamond Dallas Page story when he got his big break. So it could happen at any moment. It's all in who sees you at the right time.
Yeah.
You are a delight. You have been a delight since the day I worked with you the first time back in 2019. And we are so excited to have you in town this weekend and win that damn match so we can have you back, because I'd like to have you back on this show when you come back to fight for that title.
Depends on what the pictures look like.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. You'll have to get back to us on that. Shawna, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule tonight. We know you're traveling. We know you got to get here. So do your thing. Thank you so much. You're a beautiful person, and we're grateful that you took time out of your schedule to be here tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, now Scoot, go do your things.
All right.
That's Shawna Reed. She's not the daughter of 1,000 maniacs anymore. She's something else. You need to go to Steam Hollow to find out what that is. Thank you, Shawna. Have a great rest of your evening, okay?
You too.
And she's gone. She's gone, Rian, but we're better off for having had her here, aren't we?
She's still here.
She's not gone. She's trying to go. She's flipping you off. She's flipping you off, not me, because she's anticipating the big.
Whatever you say.
All right. I'm going now. Bye.
Now she's going. I thought she was flipping everybody off. She's flipping the world off. And why not?
Exactly. Bye.
And she's gone. Okay. Well, that was festive and fun. I'm sorry, Rachel, I took up all the time, but we were on such a limited time. I wanted to hit the bonus.
No, that's okay.
Your questions are always fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So now that we have that out of the way, we have got some things to talk about. I'm going to go through the SCW card because, we talked to her. That's a big triple threat match that she has coming up on Saturday against Angel and Natasha Crane. Natasha Crane, we had a chance to talk to at Roller Derby this past Saturday, and she has got her sights set on being the number one contender. And Rachel, you and I both know that when Natasha gets an idea in her head, virtually impossible to stop her.
Agreed. And Natasha has been going through her own kind of comeback lately, and she's looking, really strong and really healthy right now. And so I think her chances are probably the best of anybody's. No offense, Shawna.
Well, actually, she's definitely got the leg up. But, there's always the equalizer, Angel, who runs with Aaron Xavier, and that's always an X factor.
Right. I don't know. For me, it's the more the merrier. The more people to beat up, the better. So who knows?
That is a triple threat match for the number one contendership for the SCW Women's Champion, which is currently held by someone we all know very well, the ARC's Renee Van Peebles. Say it with me. The Queen of Mean. The Queen of Mean. So stay tuned for that. Other matches we have happening. High Voltage. What SCW has been doing in my absence, they have been conducting high voltage matches at the beginning of shows, like, not like dark matches, but pre-matches before the actual show starts. And I believe they have 3 high voltage matches happening this Saturday night, including VIP versus Espinosa of Dysfunction, and the Sheik versus up-and-coming rookie Johnny Chaos. And then the SCW High Voltage title will be defended, and you've got
do you want me to just rapid fire everything?
We're on the fly. It's Friday night, baby. There are no rules.
Don't look.
No rules on a Friday.
How hard it is for me to get this.
I do.
You just like doing. You're gonna make me quit again.
No, I don't want you to quit.
Actually, like fucking leave.
You got to eat the pizza.
I'm just
I made pizza for you. I'm focused. All right, so let's break. Let's go a little slower. I'm sorry. I'm getting there. We go. There's VIP versus Brandon Espinosa. Espinosa, of course, one half of Dysfunction. Well, you can't say one half of Dysfunction because you really have no idea how many members of Dysfunction there are, and they've been in cahoots with Aaron Xavier and Evil Gains Neville of late. So it's been kind of a wacky banding together of miscreants to commit dastardly deeds throughout the landscape of Southland Championship Wrestling. And then you have VIP, who was part of the faction known as Puny Genitals, and he got kicked out by the Puny Genitals. You might say he got kicked in his puny genitals by the Puny Genitals.
Are you sure it's not punitive damages?
Wait a minute. I took my glasses off. That's why I can't read.
Did you just I'm not doing this bit.
You're not doing this bit? It's a fun bit. It's time honored. It's a time honored bit. Yes, they're actually called punitive damages, but if you meet them in person ever, that puny genitals is certainly a fitting description. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. VIP against Espinosa. I don't know what VIP is bringing to this match, and he's been on just the most hellacious losing streak. I mean, I had a bad losing streak because I was losing offices and titles and friends. So I had a pretty bad losing streak going on there for a while. He's had a bad losing streak for like a year and a half. So I don't suspect that VIP is going to go over in this match because Dysfunction, those are some bad dudes.
Agreed.
They are some bad dudes, and they're rough and tumble and talented, and you better watch it. We also have the Sheik versus Johnny Chaos. Now, Johnny Chaos might be one of the most popular young superstars to come up at SCW that I've ever seen, homegrown talent-wise. I remember when he came in. I remember his first match. And the electricity his fan base brings to the crowd is unbelievable. The Sheik is one of the most consistent, one of the toughest SOBs, one of the hardest workers. It's too bad he's a prick. So if he wasn't such a prick, it would be a lot easier to like him, but then hence the puny genitals. So it would stand to reason that Johnny Chaos has his work cut out for him because wherever one member of the puny team is, they all seem to come up. I'd like to pick Johnny Chaos in this match, but I imagine skullduggery and shenanigans will occur and cost him an opportunity here. Maybe he gets his girl involved. I don't know. I guess only time will tell. the main event of High Voltage is the High Voltage Championship, which Warren C. Freiberg III Esquire Limited LLC. It's a whole lot. Well, I got most of it. I did okay. He's the champion. He hasn't actually properly defended his title in a minute, unless you can call hiding under the ring during a battle royal defending a title. But there's our guy. It's your BFF, the amazing Turtle, who will get a shot at SCW High Voltage Championship. And I think it's fair to note, you know who the general manager of SCW High Voltage is, right? You don't? Travis T is the High Voltage general manager.
That's good, right?
Well, it's good, but do you think maybe Turtle is a little nepotism here, getting a shot at the title? I mean, he certainly earned it. I'm not saying that, but having your podcast partner as an influencer of the booking makes your life a little easier, doesn't it?
I think so. Like, I don't know where you want me to go with this.
I'm just asking, just
according to
guy.
According to JFW podcast, I have to let you know that I have to make sure that you want to do this or be sure that you're going to do this. I have to be very stern in the way that I handle things. So I have to be even more stern and double down. So I want to make sure that we are on the same page and try to figure out where you're going with it. So I can then go in multiple directions and talk about it a certain way. I don't want to miss anything.
Do you want me to
That's my character.
I got you.
I double down on a bunch of stuff.
You double down. Sometimes even triple down.
Just a heads up, the SmackDown tribute has started.
Okay. Rachel, are we going to lose you with this thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was lovely having you. I'm sorry that we didn't get to roller derby. We were going to go there, but we'll talk very highly of it.
I'll pop back in a bit.
I'm sorry, Rachel. I understood what was going to happen. That's why I'm here. I got you. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna pop back in later.
I'll stop. If I don't see you, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, there she goes. Chicago Knockout's own Rachel, and she's caught up in the unfortunate. Obviously when we booked Shawna Reed to be on this special Friday night edition, we did not know what was going to happen yesterday, right? So, we have to kind of play the hand we're dealt, and we're still going to have a great rest of the show. Just the two of us. We are now a song. You keep eating. I'll keep talking.
I mean,
you want me to talk about the double down?
Whatever you like.
Well,
I'm just here. I knew how this was going to play out based on current events. That's why I'm here.
So you're here for emotional support.
We'll go with that.
Okay. So when I mentioned Travis T and the SCW High Voltage general manager giving one of his podcast partners an opportunity, I was merely saying that only to incorporate Travis T into the conversation. Turtle has been after that title for a whole calendar year. I was doing what they accused me of doing. So I just wanted to be true to my character.
This is just a random question based on the new information that I got. It's actually two random questions. How long has Travis T been High Voltage general manager?
I think he went at the inception. Terry Allen hired him on, so I think he's been GM since day one of High Voltage.
I don't know when day one is.
I think if memory serves, High Voltage has been around for at least 3 years.
Okay,
might be shorter than that. High Voltage was happening. We were doing a High Voltage taping when Pow attacked us the first time, and I'm pretty sure that was at least 2 years ago.
Okay,
and I think they were running a little prior to that. So it could be 3 years, and he's done a great job. The athletes they're training are starting to show up on the big cards. So he's doing his job and doing it well.
Okay.
It's my hope that Turtle wins the title.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I have another question, but go ahead.
Because I'm not very fond of Warren C. I feel like he's kind of a champion of good fortune, not a champion of deeds earned, if you know what I mean.
See, this was really easy. This was a really easy, like, shot. And I was like, no.
You can take a shot at
I
me.
was like, no, you be an adult. You be an adult, Rihanna.
Take a shot. I don't want to. I don't.
Don't do this. Don't do this now. And that was real easy. And I said, no, don't do it. Please continue with your statement
I don't know
of happenstance.
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like maybe you're saying I haven't earned things.
No, I haven't said anything.
Yeah, but I kind of know. I kind of see
I
where
haven't
you're.
said anything.
You didn't have to say it.
I'm just, if you want to put it out there,
I don't want. I'm not putting that out there.
I'm just, because that's a whole nother like can of worms that you have to like navigate. And I would much rather you just deal with what's in front.
Moving right along, we're going to go to the main card. Betty Vargas has become Genesis Championship in my absence.
He's become the championship belt.
He now occupies the Genesis title, which is a very, very big deal at Southland Championship Wrestling. And Betty Vargas has a Boston accent. It's really hard to listen to. And he speaks incessantly. And he's just it reminds me a lot of the current IPW champion in the diarrhea of the mouth area. And he's got a very stout challenger for the Genesis title this particular Saturday night. It is, of course, the ARC's own Miles Mercer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a hell of a match. I've said it quite a few times, and I'll continue to say it, despite my personal relationship with Miles Mercer. I feel like he is one of the best kept secrets in professional wrestling right now.
Agreed.
He can do everything. He can do anything, and he is entertaining as hell. Why he is not showcased in more places is a bit of a mystery to me.
Agreed.
Because he's that damn good, and he's had some really good matches at SCW. His fight against Aaron Xavier recently was really good. He's a very entertaining character. Hopefully he gets the win over Benny Vargas, because I think he would make a tremendous SCW Genesis champion. I think he would be someone that you would want to go see. I would pay money to see Miles Mercer wrestle, so that's how much I think of Miles. Even though I want to fight him and beat him up, I still think he is a tremendous talent, and I think he'd probably kill me, which is probably a good thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's going to be a hell of a match. Moving on. In singles action, we have a very interesting matchup of a man that hates me and a man that really hates me. So this is a match I'm probably glad I'm not going to get to see, because it's just two people hating on me. So if I was ring announcing there this weekend, this would be very uncomfortable for me, because they both despise me. And that, of course, is Jordan Pelagus. I forget what the JPH is. It's been a while.
Nope.
Jordan Pelagus Harrison, or what is the P word? It's Pelagius? Pegasus? I don't know. JPH, former man of the future, taking on the Birdman Santana Starks.
Mm-hmm.
JPH hates me.
Mm-hmm.
Santana Starks just wants me off this planet. And I don't know why. I never really did anything to him, but he hates me with a vengeance. Yeah, he doesn't like me existing. This is from the days of the Hot podcast and the morning after. That was when I first became aware of the Santana Starks hatred of me.
And this goes back to what you were saying as far as the high voltage champion.
Done nothing in this business. Hasn't earned a damn thing. Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
You can literally navigate that however you want.
I'll navigate. I don't really need to navigate it. They can think I haven't earned anything all they want to. I know I have. JPH has been on a little bit of a losing streak of late. And I have a feeling his time is going to turn around. So this is a very compelling matchup. You don't know who to cheer for. SCW fans love them some Santana Starks. And since JPH did what he did to our good friend James Creed, he has been in the crosshairs of the Steam Hollow / Shaban's faithful. So Santana Starks will have a whole brewery behind him, and I think he picks up the win, unless JPH cheats, which he's been known to do.
Fair enough.
Fair. It's going to be a good match. A very, very, very interesting skill set challenge right there. Two very different types of wrestlers. Then we have what's a return match. And if you've never seen these two guys lock up, this is one of the most violent matches I've ever seen. I've never seen two people hit each other this hard. You've got DeCobra.
All right, I was like, I feel like
taking
that's the
on
match you're going.
the real sharpshooter. They have fought previously, and it has been showstopper after showstopper. See, when Terry Allen makes a card, when Terry Allen puts together a show, it is top shelf. It is like Sinatra in Vegas. It's the best of the best. You have the best band, you have the best clothes, the best food, the best ambience. I mean, he's first class all the way, and that's what this show is. And if you're a fan of wrestling, Cobra versus James Creed is going to be one of those matches you'll be talking about the next day. One of them usually has to be carried out. So this is not their first dance. They've danced before. So it should be very compelling because they both know each other incredibly well, and they are both so fast. So that is going to be a hell of a match. And then we have some other very interesting matchups. Johnny Chaos, who was in the high voltage area, makes a second appearance at Steam Hollow when he takes on my biggest fan, Scott Spade.
Sorry, I was looking at the thing on there.
That's all right.
Trying to time it accordingly.
Scott Spade, you know him from POW Entertainment. He's been a dominant force at SCW for quite a while now. Him and Mistress Misery run a lot of things in a lot of places. I was at CSW this past Friday night, and Mistress Misery came up to mess with your boy, but Scott Spade wouldn't even acknowledge my existence. So, you know, it's a hate thing. A lot of people don't like me, man. And I'm a very likable individual. But anyway, Johnny Chaos will probably not walk out of this match. He has tremendous talent. He is fast. He is strong. He is physically fit, and he flies around that ring with the greatest of ease. But Scott Spade kills people. Scott Spade hurts people. If Scott Spade can catch him and get him down, Scott Spade's going to hurt that boy, because that's what Scott Spade does. Hurts people.
He is wrestling previously, right?
He is. So this is his second match of the night.
Okay.
They're giving Johnny Chaos a yeoman's work, and I think if they have to carry him to the hospital, it might not be a great idea.
I'm just checking.
But if Johnny Chaos finds a way to pull off a win over Scott Spade, that would be an incredible upset, and that would be an incredible feather in the cap of a young career.
Agreed.
That might launch Johnny Chaos to the next level. So interesting storylines happening all over the place at Brawl at the Brewery. We have some tag team titles on display. We have got our friends, the Titans of Destruction, trying to reclaim their titles over the people we were talking about earlier, those known as Dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
wait. Well, I'm pointing like so that one
Espinosa
is the one that's wrestling.
Yes, he is.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep track.
Brandon Espinosa is fighting earlier on in the night, but they will have a tag team title match, and VJ Price and El Dorado are really looking to get those titles back. They feel like they got screwed, and in many ways they did. But that doesn't take anything away in this case from Dysfunction, because we're very fortunate to work with a lot of great tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some really gifted ones. Dysfunction is on a whole other level. They come all the way up from OVW. They are legit ballers when it comes to tag team wrestling, and they are fun to watch. They're dark. It's not for your kids, but they get after it. And, you know, VJ and Dorado are going to have to really bring everything they have, or they're not going to get their titles back. It's going to be a hell of a matchup at Brawl at the Brewery.
They have an advantage in the fact that one half of the tag champions are wrestling previously.
Will that be enough, though? And you know that very well, fatigue may be a factor. It certainly could tip the scales, that's for sure. What if Espinosa gets injured or something of that nature happens? I mean, anything can happen. It's professional wrestling.
Agreed.
So that's going to be a hell of a match. Another match that I'm very much looking forward to, of course, is my friends in Puny Genitals.
Okay, got it. Got it.
My friends in Puny Genitals, the Sheik, who is fighting for a second time in the evening, and well, you all know how much I love Mr. Schultz. Mr. Schultz continues to make my life miserable. But they are fighting elite pain.
There's a lot of people that want you to go away. Steve.
There's a lot of people that want me to go
Want
away.
you to go.
Yeah, and you know,
I'm seeing a pattern on this.
well,
a lot of people that want you to go.
I mean, like I said, I'm starting to back off. I'm on commentary more. I'm taking tickets, so you know, I'm backing off. I'm going away, just like people want, going away, off into the sunset. But Elite Pain, that is a storied tag team, and Hunter Payne is a giant. Hunter Payne is built. I'm going to say it, built like a brick shithouse, and I just look at Schultz and Sheik, and you know, not that they're not great workers. I mean, Schultz is one of the hottest stars in wrestling days everywhere.
You keep talking. I'm gonna do you. Keep talking about.
You're gonna do me a favor.
We'll do you a favor because it's something that you're speaking of.
Hunter Payne is a killer of men, and when he and his tag team partner Marco Anthony get together, they are exactly what they are. They are Elite Pain. Marco Anthony is doing some of the best wrestling he's done in a long time right now.
I normally don't do stuff like this, but I'm just going to show this to anyone that's watching this. I just want you to look at these shoulders and arms.
Yes. It's bigger than Schultz's chest cavity.
Like,
that's a giant arm. That's a python. I don't know if it's a Hogan python, but it's pretty close. It's at least a water moccasin.
Just
it's big.
Going based on what's in front of me.
I've gotten shot by that bicep before. It's no thrill ride. It's no. I mean, it's a thrill ride until you end up in a coma. So Puny Genitals get even smaller after this match. This is going to be an ass kicking of just gigantic proportions. I mean, Hunter Payne would have to lose a leg for them.
I just want to make it clear, like Schultz is not a small dude.
No, Schultz is a big dude.
I want to make that clear. Schultz is 6 feet.
And the Sheik has been doing this a lot.
It's not a small dude at all.
I mean, they could challenge for tag team gold at some point. They're a good team, but they're not Elite Pain good. And they're, you know, it's, if Red were here, he'd say, don't fuck with Baltazar. That's what he'd say. But Red's not here. We miss you, Red.
He is not.
I think we only have one more match to talk about. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope, that's it. Our final match is for the SCW Heavyweight Championship. And this is a very compelling match. You've got the evil genius, my mentor, Aaron Xavier, the man who taught me everything about being general manager, which is probably why I don't have any more general manager jobs. But his reign as SCW Heavyweight Champion is starting to become an extended situation. He's been champ for a long time now. Enter Acid Jazz, who won the #1 contenders match versus James Creed in nefarious means, but Terry Allen made a point to point out that he trained Acid Jazz to beat people like Aaron Xavier. Could we be seeing a new champ? Is this Acid Jazz's time to overcome the hurdle and take the championship gold? Will he put Aaron Xavier out of a belt? I mean, can that happen?
This is one of the few times that I'm actually gonna like say stuff, no gimmicks, no nothing. I'm gonna say it and leave it be. Acid Jazz is hands down the most underrated wrestler in the area, period. He is able to do things that a guy like Marche can, like, they're all in the same camp, but just some of the things that he's able to do, I am still at awe. I'm still in awe of the stuff that he's able to do. And that was before he has the attitude that he has now. So if there was anyone that was able to take the title off of Aaron Xavier, is this guy. Just watching the way that he does things. Because if you think he didn't have the don't care attitude before, he definitely, like, the older he gets, the more he's like, fuck it. And that's a very, very dangerous person to have there. But I stand back. He is the most underrated. And I know he'll think, no, that I'm just the right amount of rated. But I feel like if the same way that we feel about Miles, I feel the same way about him. He should have been out. Like, like it. That's just my personal opinion. Just the most underrated worker, period, in the area. That's just me.
That's just you.
That's just me.
I tend to agree with everything you just said. There's just something about the men that were touches that just make them special. And
Out of everyone in that group, that's the dude I'm worried about.
yeah, I
He's
mean,
the one. Like, and they'll tell you if there's anyone that you should be worried about
It's
or afraid
Jazz.
of, it's Jazz, because he's the one that doesn't care.
and Jazz has you're right, the air of unpredictability. And the way he responds to the crowd.
Mhm.
He really gets the crowd involved, and he intermixes some comedy here and there. He's got every move in the book, and then a few moves that maybe aren't even in the book yet. So but then there's Aaron Xavier, who he's a self-made superstar,
Mhm.
coming from the Seduce and Destroy and tag team to becoming a major player. He was a general manager and a promoter at Crash Tested Wrestling, doing everything. Had one of the most memorable matches I've ever seen live against Justice Jones. His history is well documented. My respect for him is well documented, despite the fact that he makes fun of me relentlessly. The talent is there. He's back at Dreamwave doing amazing work. He right now, he is as busy and doing as well as he ever has.
Mhm.
And this championship at SCW means an awful lot to him. And is Jazz the guy to take the strap off him, or does he have a plan? It always seems like Aaron Xavier has a plan.
Fair enough.
So there you have it, kids. Brawl at the Brewery. What, did I miss one?
No. I was just gonna go. If we're done talking about this, I was gonna go back to one match. I had a question for you.
Okay, let's do it. Let's circle back.
All right. So that match right there. This is just a quick question. This is to go back to what I was saying earlier. Travis has been general manager there for, you said, 3 years.
If it's been around he's been manager since day one. I know it's been at least 2 years. It may have been pre-pandemic, which would make it 3.
Which is fine. So I guess my question is, why did it take so long for him to get a match? Knowing Turtle's passion and drive for wanting to wrestle and go after championships and get the respect that he feels he deserves.
Travis probably would have given him a match a long time ago, but as general manager, you still have people to answer to.
Mhm.
And he has had to answer to certain people, Terry Allen being one of them.
Mhm.
And this is now the first opportunity he has had in his position to give Turtle this opportunity. So, it just took this long because that was what was in the cards, I guess.
So there was a very strong possibility, based on how this is taking place, that if Turtle loses this match, it could take another 3 years for him to get a match, based on your logic.
Very much so. I mean, it's certainly possible.
Okay, do or die.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and like I said, Turtle right now is wrestling at the highest level I've ever seen him work at. He is doing things in that ring that I find to be pretty impressive for his background and where he comes from. As a matter of fact, he's cutting back on his referee duties to focus on the in-ring stuff much more, which you got to give the man credit. He is chasing his dreams the right way. Even though we disagreed on social media about the job he did Friday night at CSW, costing Big Moo the tag team titles because he wasn't in the right place at the right time. And our new general manager would not overturn the decision because it was clearly wrong. We had a little bit of a tete-a-tete, shall you say, on Twitter. I don't not on Twitter very often, but we had
you mean X?
X.
I was going to say touche, but that's out of context, and I'm not sure if you're ready for the joke yet. So I'm just gonna leave that be, because you can't just touche someone for no reason at all. I mean, you can, but I've been doing that outside of wrestling, and then turn around and saying I touche'd your ass. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that joke here. You're not ready for it. But now that you know the joke exists,
Yeah, I'll try to keep my head on a swivel.
I can just randomly touche.
You can randomly dive into why, as you should, as you totally should. So that's this Saturday night, Steam Hollow Brewery, Manteno, Illinois. Brawl at the brewery. For the first time, SCW works at Steam Hollow without a rock band interlude. So it's going to be 100% wrestling all night long, 12 big matches. It's going to be a hell of a show. I have obligations elsewhere, so I won't be there, but still support SCW through and through. It's a big part of who I am, and I will be back there at some point. But
I'm gonna help you out.
You're gonna help me out? Help me out. I need to help. Oh, thank you. You did say, man, I missed that. It's the one thing I missed. How could I forget the human highlight reel? LWF Elite.
I hope they get on you on Sunday. I hope they talk to you on Sunday.
They will.
Not knowing their letters.
I
hope they talk.
I know the letters. I've been a constituent of LWF for a great many years. Stop it. Don't touche my ass. Don't touche my ass. Oh. So it would seem Friday night power hours are not a great idea. A lot less attendance. Moving on. Acid is a legend. Can we agree that as you're done laughing? Acid is a legend. I remember obviously seeing him fight many, many years ago. But I also saw him fight pretty recently at the big DWA Spectacular a few years back. And I remember sitting there on commentary with C Red, and when Acid came out, C Red screamed into my ear for 10 minutes, Acid, Acid. It was amazing. He was hyped. I was hyped. Acid was great. And he is appearing live this Saturday. So if you're not going for the 12 matches that are going to be amazing, if you're not going for the great beer, if you're not going to meet Shawna Reed, go to see Acid, who is a bona fide legend. Thoughts?
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
I got you. And thank you for saving my ass there. I would have felt pretty bad. Travis is already going to be all over me. He's going to be all over me because that's Travis's relation.
With
he is related to one Acid. I believe they are. I believe that there's a cousin collaboration there.
You mean like actual blood?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. He hasn't been on his podcast yet, but
no.
That's okay.
No.
You know, the best for JFW is yet to come.
Agreed.
Do you listen to JFW?
I do.
Me too. All right, moving on. Talk a little bit real quickly about what happened this past Friday and Saturday. We had a little show in Franklin Park called
I don't know. If you're looking for me, but I was like, you just take.
I lost.
Breathing.
It's Friday. It's Friday. There's no C Red to help me out. Extreme Intentions, CSW this past Friday night.
Okay.
Match of the night had to have been Iniestra and Eric Schultz taking on Steve Boz and Tommy Dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Dreamer was everybody was very excited to see Tommy Dreamer, and Tommy Dreamer has a story about cancer and things,
mm-hmm.
and it's in light of all the stuff we've been dealing with lately, it can get emotional.
Agreed.
And he was terrific. He had a seminar, hung out with the guys, hung out with the fans, signed autographs till way late. He and Boz were a hell of a tag team. So
may I ask a question? I know it's not a timeout, but let me just, are we running down the show?
I'm gonna run down the show very quickly.
Okay. Do I need to get these photos ready? Because I can get them up. I'm just preparing. I just need to know. So I am.
Let's start with Marche and Lycan for the heavyweight title.
Okay.
We'll go there first.
Okay.
That was your main event.
Okay.
Because some very interesting things are happening in the land of CSW, especially when it comes to the Hate Keepers.
Okay. I can do this.
The Hate Keepers have been on a roll. And Conan Lycan has been on a roll without the Hate Keepers,
Okay.
but the Hate Keepers don't like to admit that. Lycan has asked the Hate Keepers to stay out of his matches because he wants to fight. He did not want any shenanigans fighting a man of Marche's caliber. Because if you go toe-to-toe with Marche Rocket and you win outright, doesn't that give you a feather in the cap, a big win of big magnitude of a man that is, you know, featured on Impact, featured on NWA, legendary soul toucher, you know, been there, done that, seen everything, right?
All of it.
So Lycan asked the Hate Keepers to stand down immediately, and the match was great. Back and forth, toe to toe. Lycan shows you why he is a spectacular athlete. He can do things a man of his size shouldn't be able to do. But the same thing can be said about Marche Rocket.
Agreed.
And they went tit for tat for the entire 15 minutes. And then things got a little tense at the end, and Marche was starting to get up on it, and you could feel the momentum shift. And the Hate Keepers come out and ruin everything.
I think I got them all.
Good.
Okay.
We'll use them. So Lycan wins. Well, he doesn't really win. It was kind of a no contest.
Mm-hmm.
The ring flooded. Turtle had to throw it out. It was a crazy match. But what it yielded to me is how irritated Lycan is to be with all the help the Hate Keepers are giving him.
Right.
He wants to do this on his own. He wants to be a champion, and he wants to earn respect. He feels like he doesn't get respect, but he wants to earn it. I can appreciate that.
I feel like that's the running theme of the show, Steve.
Not my fault. Well, maybe it is. Anyway, after the shenanigans were over, he was having words with the Hate Keeper. So you wonder exactly how secure the Hate Keepers are as a team. And I say that because we're going to shift back to the tag team match.
Okay, I got it.
You got it. We're going to shift back to that. I'm going to bounce my notes
That's
around.
fine. You go ahead.
I'm going to bounce them. I'm bouncing those notes. I'm bouncing those notes.
Found it. Just do what you need to do.
It was a tag team match that involved the Hate Keepers. Well, it wasn't even a tag team match. It was a scramble. So you had a bunch of fellas in this match. You had the likes of Joey Mayberry, the dad bod demigod.
Okay.
You had the likes of Rafael Quintero, one of the new up-and-coming superstars that has been brought up by CSW at CSW.
Mm-hmm.
You had Moondog, Greg Murray, who's one of the most popular men in the sport right now. You had Adam Stallion, the gatekeeper. He is a guy that has put CSW on his back more than a few times. And then, of course, you had Marston and Boucher. Every man for himself. And at the end, the Hate Keepers, they turned on each other to get the win. And Boucher pins Marston. And they hug it out at the end, and it's okay because at least the Hate Keepers won. But you could see Marston being like, dude. But to Boucher's credit, only one man can win.
Mm-hmm.
So I really thought that Mayberry was going to go over. I thought Mayberry was going to be the guy, not to be that night as the Hate Keepers do Hate Keeper things. But you could see the strains inside the Hate Keepers, the cracks starting to show. And then you had the big Hate Keeper, the boss keeper, if you want to call him that, Shane Hollister, taking on the mighty Warhorse. What did I learn about this match?
Are you asking?
I'm asking. What do you think I learned?
They hit hard.
They do. Warhorse is one of the most charismatic performers I have ever seen live. They showered him with streamers and Slim Jims. There must have been 1,500 Slim Jims in that ring. I've never seen so much processed beef. What? That's what it's like jerky. It's processed beef. That is an accurate statement. You laughing at me. Anyway, moving on. Hollister, in the scope of the Hate Keepers, you sometimes forget how talented he was. And he came out in full Shield regalia, paying homage perhaps to his old friend. It was wild. And it was entertaining. And what do you think happened? Hate keepers.
Yeah,
The hate keepers happened. So for the second straight, for the second straight time, Warhorse ain't gonna come back, especially with our new scumbag GM. Warhorse ain't coming back because he keeps getting screwed over. He was winning that match. Hollister was on the ropes, and then out came the hate keepers, and that was that, as they say. Mario Pardua had a match
I can do
this against the monster known as Hades. Hades X1X has been going through some changes of late, and last month ripped his mask off to confront Vic Capri. And watching that mask come off and him transforming from the monster back to the man, Jason Hades. Jason Hades is a man I respect. Jason Hades is one of the best of the best. His run at Dreamwave is legendary. You all know his name. He came to Crash Tested Wrestling. That was the first time I saw him.
I presented him with his award.
Yes, you did. So when you see the mask come off and you see the man behind it, it changes things. It makes you wonder what's happening. It makes you wonder why all of this is necessary. How did he get to this point? I would really love a chance to sit down with the monster, putting my own safety in jeopardy, and have a conversation just to find out what went wrong, what went south, what brought you to this. Because it's been a year of destruction, chaos, and injury. He had a damn funeral for Sky Blue. She wasn't even dead. Anyway, Mario Pardua gets the win. But it was Vic Capri evening the odds. So Vic Capri and Shelley came out and offered a little assistance to get Mario the victory, and that did not sit well with Hades. So whatever happens in the month of September should be very interesting. We had the tag team titles. Team Sexy defeats Big Mood by suspicious means. What troubled me, a couple of things. Team Sexy was way too happy for the winning the way they won it and having those titles. I don't like that.
You don't like?
I don't like
being happy.
I don't like people being happy when they don't deserve to be happy.
Sound like you need to be part of Hate Keepers, dude.
I don't need to be part of Hate Keeper. Well, they never asked me. They asked me. Who knows, man? That might be kind of fun.
What's wrong with these faces? I don't understand. Like, they happy. Like, what's the issue?
But Moody and Mateo won the match. Turtle made a mistake. The pin that occurred, legs were clearly on the ropes, using it for leverage. It was unfortunate for everybody involved. And then at the end, tensions flew high between Mateo and Moody, and you saw a little instability there. And I didn't like to see that because Big Mood's one. I'm a Jack Moody guy, and I feel bad when things go bad for him. So I don't know what's going to happen next month, but I hope the life of Big Mood is okay, and I hope the title reign of Team Sexy is short. I don't like to see Ryan Matthews smile.
We literally have.
I don't need to see Ryan.
It's on the thing. Like that's what he does. I'm not calling timeout, but that's
Ryan Matthews. He is one half of the new CSW Tag Team Champions. The final match we got to move on because we're trying to wrap this package tonight.
Like final match.
Well, there are plenty of matches. We're not going to go through each of them.
So many. There's so many.
There's so many matches. The ladies tag team match, Team Awesome versus Team Evil. You had Maggie Lee, Shelly Benson, and Missa Kate taking on Amina Belmont, Heather Reckless, and Sierra. This match was amazing, and it reminds me why I feel like CSW has one of the best women's divisions in the sport, because it was one of the most entertaining matches I've ever had the opportunity to call. Amina Belmont is new, but so gifted and so mean. I mean, she's given Queen Amina a run for her money. She's very angry and very, very malicious. And then, of course, you have Devil's Little Princess Heather Reckless, who was CSW Women's Champion for an amazing length of time. Stan Payne would tell you the exact stats. I don't have that information. And then, of course, you have Sierra, who's the baddest woman on the planet right now. She's as tough as they come, and she is the champion.
Right.
And they worked well together, and it was a chaotic match, and the fun exists. You could see the enthusiasm as they grappled. Shelly Benson, wildly popular in CSW. Maggie Lee, she is new, but her stock has risen so much in the last couple of months. She's champion in other promotions, and she really puts on a show. She flies through the air with such grace and ease. And the return of Missa Kate has CSW on its ear. There was a moment where there was a dance-off. Turtle ended up dancing with the girls. Turtle doing Shelly's milkshake. I wish I could unsee it. Yeah, I know. It happened. It's real. It was the Turtle Shake. That's what he's calling it. Like the Russell Shuffle. The Turtle Shake. It's a thing.
Y'all out here doing too much.
It's on a t-shirt.
I can't.
It's on a t-shirt.
I'm doing
Turtle
too
Shake.
much out here in these streets. God damn it.
It was a hell of a match. Missa Kate with the win. Team Awesome wins. And then Chris Miller shows up to mock the ladies. And then it was like dog pile on the rabbit. They beat the shit out of that boy. I thought Sierra was going to kill him. I don't know who was going to kill him more, Missa Kate or Sierra, but they all took a shot at him. Chris Miller, not very popular with the ladies in CSW. The show ends. I come out to do the final sign off because this was my last duty, as I am no longer. Obviously,
2 more matches, dude.
2 more matches. I know there are 2 more matches. Can't talk about everything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Can't talk about. I mean, it was an amazing night, and it signs off with me coming out to say goodnight and commiserating with my good friend Wade. TJ Steele comes out, fires our ring announcer. Fired him. Right in front of me. Fired him.
Okay.
Why do you fire ring announcers are not in good are not in heavy supply.
So what happened?
You've got your Timmies and your Bullards and your Greg Hansons and your Riccolos, but Wade's really good, and now he's gone.
This is the guy you interviewed previously on this podcast.
Yeah, he's our friend of the show. Fired by that asshat. That's my boss. I don't like it.
I mean, I don't like it. He had a great voice. You hear his mic? This shit was amazing.
Yeah, he was right where he needed to be. Anyway, we wish Wade the best, and we hope that he gets work soon. I hope he comes back. I hope the TJ Steele administration folds in on itself like a neutron star, and we get a new general manager in there that understands the people. But anyway, that was CSW's Extreme Intentions. The next show coming in September should be amazing as well. You were in Homewood Saturday night, as was I, in a very, very strange edition of Chicagoland Knockout Roller Derby.
Mm-hmm.
Wish Cactus was here to talk to us about this, but she's got other plans right now. What did you think of the crazy rules aspect of what was going on?
From watching it previously, I'm honestly not sure how they managed it. there were certain aspects of it that when I was watching it live, I'm like, I don't even understand how they're dealing with this in the first half, let alone the second.
It was a really good job of preparation by the Shenanigans team. Sarah Bellin, Penny Thighs, Inferno, Rainbow Bite, and then of course the coordinator Hips from Hell. They did a hell of a job getting the donations together to buy the points, to buy the shenanigans.
There are a lot of points being bought.
There was a lot of shenanigans being bought.
There was a lot of.
I ended up in the sin bin twice.
As you should have.
No, I shouldn't have. Why did you have to go there?
I know what I saw.
Our friend Cheyenne put me in the penalty box.
Good.
And then Natasha Crane. They paid money to see me go to jail.
Yes, they did.
To try to get my ass kicked by the people that were in the jail with me.
Good.
I didn't get my ass kicked.
I don't see what the problem is.
I didn't like it. I don't belong in prison. I'm just an announcer.
That's fine.
But it was a hell of a match. The actual bout. It was an excellent bout. It was a lot of fun, and I talked to many of the fans after the show was over, and they were all
nailed it.
It was really good. Everybody had a great time, right?
Agreed.
Look at that line. That's a line outside the Homewood Auditorium to get in to the Knockouts bout, and it was a big crowd, a lot of money raised, a lot of shenanigans, dance offs, noodle fight. Look at all those noodles. Look at those noodles. Probably one of the most entertaining evenings I've spent with the Knockouts.
I'll say two things, and then however you want to handle it after the fact, it's fine. So watch the noodles first come out, and they were fine because it's funny, haha, like, oh, this is fun. And I'm not sure, I can't remember who did it exactly, but I remember one particular round when they were coming, because I was standing in the walkway where you had north side versus south side. So you literally had the buildings sectioned off between north and south. So I'm standing there in the middle, and then you come around on the first lap, and then I just hear
loud, like a gunshot.
And the moment that happened, all bets were off. And I'll never forget it. Because I just remember someone got hit, everyone started swinging, and I remember Beetlejuice just cruising along in between all of this chaos. It was the only time I've seen her skate so slow, because she just waited. She was just underneath this sea of noodles just going through, and then she just got up, and then she took off. And when she got back, she tried it again, but they saw her and then started going at it again. I was like, okay. But I just remember that particular one, I was like, oh, they were treating them like they were belts.
Yeah,
they did not care.
It was if those were leather straps, it would have been more violent, but they did a lot of damage with the noodles, that's for sure. And there were all kinds of, there was a dance off, there were no jam, there was no pack. We're just jammers jamming. So it was a hell of an interesting concept, and the Knockouts do what the Knockouts do. They delight the fans and they give them what they want, and it was a hell of a time. The next bout coming up in September, we'll be back to the divisional play, Punishers and the Comic Book Crushers and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So we'll have that dynamic again as we go toward the end of the year with the Golden Skate and the championship. But boy, this night was very fun. Again, as I say it all the time, if you've never been to the Chicago Knockouts to watch a bout, you need to get there, because it really is one hell of a way to spend a Saturday night in Homewood. So get out there, support the Knockouts, support the young. What's the name of the young Knockouts division again? I often forget.
I can't remember their names off the top, because they switched it.
It's different.
It's different now, and that's the thing. I was like, I can't remember what it was, because it was the Brawlers, and there's something else. I can't remember.
Yeah. So check out the minor league Knockouts too. The youth of America coming into their own. Our favorite Lunella is doing big things there. So the next generation of the Knockouts is in good hands. So we looked at the past, we dealt with the present. Now we're going to deal with the future. Tomorrow I head to Wisconsin there's me and Ocho. Thank you. I like that picture. We look good, or he looks good, and I look like I'm there. Battle Lines happens tomorrow in Wisconsin. The first episode of Crossfire came out on the Premier streaming network tonight. And we're all very excited about that. It's got a very high rating on the network right now. It's being advertised on the front of their page. So congratulations to Ben and all for a very successful debut. Episode 1 of Crossfire. I was damn glad to be a part of it. There is a lot of chaos happening at Battle Lines this particular weekend. I don't want to give away too many details. I don't want to give away too much because I want you to go there. But you know, there are a lot of cool, talented people, you know, that are working there. You know, a lot of people you know around here, the Ewoks and the Quinn Whittocks and the Joey Daltons and the Bro Bros. Disco Ray, our good friend, who I did commentary with, will be there. Shaq Jordan will be there. They've got quite a crop of superstars, and I'm becoming more familiar with some of the homegrown talent that I wasn't aware of, like Stryker Industries. They're a bad, you know, and Aaron Arsenal and Coda Jacobs. As much as you despise their characters, they are amazing entertainers. And then, you know, Bulletproof Ben McCoy and his son Gavin are going through some family problems. So we've got a lot of things happening this particular Saturday in Wisconsin. The rivalry between Kid Lat and Rockin' Rivera has manifested itself for the last couple of weeks on social media. You know, there's a lot of chaos happening at Battle Lines. And I think a lot of what happens at Battle Lines will end up in future episodes of Crossfire. So if you aren't able to make it to Wisconsin this particular Saturday, but you should, because it's not terribly far. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes in. So it's not as far as we went the last time. So it's easier to get there, and it's going to be great. And this is the bridge to September 30th, Night for Tyler 6, which is the big show of the year for them. So, you know, there's, like I said, a lot of people, you know, from here in the Midwest area go up there and do amazing work at Battle Lines. I can't wait to see Ben McCoy versus Shaq Jordan, because they've cut some pretty spicy promos together. Shaq cut one on Ben, and then Ben met up with Shaq and confronted him. So there's a lot of bad blood there. So, you know, and you know, it's just some people that I haven't worked with in a while. The return of Paragon, Drip Flair. He's coming to eat and hunt at Battle Lines this particular Saturday. I haven't seen Will Emery in a minute, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I haven't seen him since Blitz.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that. And there's just, you know, I'm telling you, Frontline Pro is a really, really impressive organization. And just to be there and be a part of it is amazing. And I think everybody should come to Battle Lines. It's going to be a hell of a night. You know, tickets I think are still available. So come on up. You know, follow us. We're heading out there tomorrow in the early afternoon. Catch a ride. Hot Rod Daddy Andy on display. He's going to be doing some big things there. So I'm riding up with him like I did previously. Hopefully we'll get a chance to go to the quick trip, as they have taught me that is something of a tradition at Frontline Pro. So I'm happy to be a part of that. And like I said, to be one of the voices of Battle Lines on their new show is pretty cool. I think it's some of the best work I've done in my career. So I'm very excited to get back there and do more. And then Sunday, it's a busy day. Although I'm not involved in what's happening in a wrestling standpoint, there are some pretty crazy matches, including a tag team match that you are involved in this Sunday, mister. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that as IPW returns to Richmond Park?
What do you want to know, Steve?
Well, it's you and Turtle. You and Turtle enter an agreement as a tag team. And here you are after the champion showcase match, you both are title holders. You both possess Rocket Pro Wrestling titles of one kind or another. You're taking on the IPW tag team champs and the Booze Brothers.
Mhm.
Conceivably, you guys could win this match. Conceivably, you could be Turtle and Rion 2 belts.
Mhm.
Conceivably, you will have to become partners after a very, very physical match in the champion showcase.
Okay.
That's pretty interesting. It's pretty amazing.
I am amazed that no one is paying attention to the fact that Damian Saint is going to be the host. And then you have 4 Rocket Pro guys in the same match. And the fact that it's just the 4 of us fighting each other right before Rocket Pro starts back up in a couple weeks.
Fall brawl.
Like no one wants to talk about that. And I understand that's fine. I'm just like, yay, titles, but I just
You think that there may be another agenda happening?
don't know.
Well, you got to come
I
to.
found out just like everyone else did as far as match.
So you're the information liaison
And
at
yet I found out exactly when everyone else did.
right. I would like to know how they came to the conclusion of thinking that Damian Saint as a host was a good idea.
Because Rocket Pro and IPW, from what I've seen, has always had a very good working relationship with one another.
Absolutely.
Since Rocket Pro's inception. So I get it. At the same time, it's one of those things that I have to just kind of look at and be like, okay, that's fine. It just so happens that this tag team title match takes place, and Damian Saint is the host, and it might as well be a Rocket show or a Rocket Pro Wrestling showcase, which is fine, but I'm just going based on what I see.
So again, a match with heavy Rocket Pro implications, to be sure, with the Rocket Pro general manager. I guess that is a level that I didn't consider. It's good that you're here. You are liaisoning me with information. I appreciate that. Also, another company will be have a belt being defended at this time. The Crash Tested Wrestling Chasing Destiny Championship.
Are you sure?
Is it not? I thought I saw that the graphic that Jay Thunder was in action.
Well, I know he's in action, but I believe he's in a medallion tournament.
Oh, is he in the tournament? Okay, then I am misinformed.
Well, that's kind of why I'm here, Steve.
Yeah.
If you like, where you want to go with that? You want to go right to the medallion stuff?
Yeah, because I know there was some question. There's a graphic that had people you don't know who's going to be in it.
Well, that would be the finals. And the way that it was explained to me is that there will be 4 matches that'll take place. And of the 4 singles matches, the winners will be in a 4-way, fatal 4-way, the same show.
Wow, that's a lot of matches.
That's 5. It's fine.
That's a lot. It's going to be a busy day, and it is a special early start time.
Yes, it is 1 p.m.
So not 2 o'clock like normal.
Hour
early. So it's not the you're not changing the clocks. We're just doing it an hour early. Fall back, leap forward, and that kind of thing. It's not got to do with Ben Franklin.
No, it has everything to do with Chicago.
Yes. I love this match. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch. I think I might flip open the trusty Facebook machine and do a little live commentary on a match like this.
Right, fair enough.
Well, because that's what I'm doing. That's what I do.
I'm going to help you out, Steve.
You help me out. I could use some help. Been talking nonstop.
Yes, you have. That's what you do, Steve. It's okay. Here you go. There's another match.
D'Angelo Steele, the champ, taking on Cash Money.
What you got, Steve?
I hope Cash Money kills him. I know he's Red Sun, but he pisses me off.
Cash Money or D'Angelo Steele?
D'Angelo Steele.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I don't think it's Cash Money Red Sun too.
Well, the way that you said it, it sounded like Cash Money
No.
was Red.
No, we like Cash. Cash Money's my guy.
Not everyone watches it, Steve. Some of them just listen to it and go, so you have to make
And that's the
sure.
best part because no one watches this. So anything that is said here tonight doesn't matter, even though some other people think otherwise.
Yeah, well, you know,
I know
it happens.
it does.
I'm gonna give you.
Gonna give me some more?
Yeah.
I love the graphics. I wonder if Sean is gonna love the graphics. We'll have to find out.
Sean, there's multiple Sean's.
Shawna.
Shauna.
I hope she likes the pictures.
I think so. So if she watches.
Nick Diamond, the undeniable Nick Diamond,
Mm-hmm,
taking on Gustavo.
mm-hmm.
Nick Diamond, I know he's a weasel, but a talented weasel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Gustavo. Can you break it down for me?
As far as I know, Gustavo, his first or his debut was the League Royale, where he and Diamond were 1 and 2. So this is not the first time that they've like faced each other, but it's definitely the first like singles match. Gustavo likes getting hit.
I don't like getting hit.
Well, I was in a triple threat with him and Sean Danger, and he really likes getting hit. I don't understand it. So that he has a death wish, and
That's not good.
but he also has youth on his side. So
He's a young man.
we'll see how that plays out.
So how do you see this match playing out?
I think experience will beat out passion and drive. I think Diamond will end up getting it.
So that again, that's another medallions opening round tournament. So one of these men will move to later to be in the medallions match.
And the last match is this one.
Hot Rod, Daddy Andy baby, and TW3 coming all the way down. TW3 very popular at Frontline Pro Wrestling. And he put on a clinic last month in Wisconsin. TW3 is all that in a bag of chips.
Agreed.
But Hot Rod Daddy Andy, we love us some Hot Rod Daddy Andy. I don't know who, how's this match going to go? Talk about 2 characters. Holy cow. Can Andy bring big fight to a big fighter?
Well, he was the first and only 2-time Second City champion for IPW, so I would see no reason otherwise, but we'll see what happens.
So those are the matches that will have participants, the victor, heading into the big Megillah later to win that medallion.
Agreed.
And the medallion has magical powers.
Sorry. Just trying to get there. We go.
You got it?
I think so. We'll see.
We'll see. What do we got next?
10 minutes. You're talking about that.
Yes, the question marks. It's the Riddler versus the Riddler versus the Riddler versus the Riddler.
When there's all those matches, we'll see accordingly. We'll see what happens.
And
that's what you're speaking of.
Someone's walking out of there with a medallion.
Mm-hmm.
The card is it's an amazing card. IPW offers a brand of wrestling that has an air of unpredictability.
Agreed.
Which is what I like. This is good. I like this match. Renee Van Peebles, the ARC, taking on Brittany Kay, one of the Wrestle League prodigies. I saw Brittany Kay take Sierra to the wall 2 nights in a row. Renee better eat her Wheaties because Brittany Kay is legit.
I also saw Brittany Kay take one hell of a German on that first night.
She sure did.
Jesus.
I like Brittany Kay. She's a force of nature, and I think she's going to do big things in this particular company as well as other companies she works for. And she's a pretty darn good ref as well, isn't she? It had to be a good ref to police that championship showcase match. Here it is.
I don't understand why that keeps coming up.
I don't know either.
It's just a match.
It was just a match.
Everyone else is thinking of it being way bigger than what it is, like, at least to me.
I thought she was a fantastic referee in that match.
Agreed.
IPW League champion Damian Gray about to become ex-champion. This is the night or the afternoon that Kid Lat gets gold. It's as if God smiled upon the Lightning Kid. I think it's his time.
Very impressive. Very impressive. The last show he wrestled, he pinned Gray. That's how he ended up getting in this match.
That's it.
I'm amazed of how good he actually is.
And congratulations, he's now a college student.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Constantly evolving, constantly.
And he is as fast and quick and ring savvy as they come. Damian Gray, as much as I don't like him, as much as it's going to come to blows at some point, he is a very talented performer.
Agreed.
He is a great person with a microphone, even though it's incessant and I wish he would stop. But he can also back up everything he says.
Also,
He hurts people.
Agree on that also.
So Kid Lat, I'd love to see a victory here, but you just never know what the man that holds the bat and the title is going to do.
He is very unpredictable, but he doesn't lose often. I can tell you that much. I've been on the business end of that.
Look at the different promotions that spill into IPW, or is it the IPW roster spills into the promotions? It's kind of like a give and a take, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
You got Crash Tested, Rocket Pro, Frontline Pro, Wrestle League, and then of course there is our suave Rocket Pro GM hosting the show. That smile is going to annoy everybody. But hey, come on out. It's going to be a great show. Such great talent. You get a chance to see him in the matinee. And some of the people in the IPW show are going to pack up their old kit bag and head to Chicago for the nightcap of the weekend. And that, of course, is Night of the Super Wrestlers, the Super Wrestlers Strike Back. I'm going to this. I'm very excited. I don't pay to see shows very often anymore because I get to go work shows more than I get to, but I pay for this. When they announced this shit, I bought it the first day because I have to see what's going to happen. I have to get my Vlad bladder fix. I have to see Business Puppy. I have to see USA Hole. I have to see Destructo. I need my super wrestlers. I want to know about the prize. I want to know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Only Billy Wack knows what's going to happen. And from the warped mind of Billy Wack, this is something extraordinary. Are you coming?
As long as nothing comes up, yeah.
All right. I'll see you there. I'll save you a seat.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I still have to wrap up stuff for IPW.
I know that. But if you get out there, I will be glad to exchange hugs with you. It's one of these shows. It just it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really liken it to anything else that's out there right now. Can you?
That's good, right?
I think so. And the Concord Music Theater is a pretty interesting place to see a show. It's bigger than you'd think, and it seats more people than you'd expect, and still it feels spacious and you don't feel claustrophobic. And the way they set this up, it's a really, really fun place. It's really intimate. It's right up in your face, and I sure hope we can get Rhinor home, because the man has been stuck on this planet for a month. No, more months. That was in April. He's been, where has he been?
Well, technically, he's been stuck for like 3 years.
That's a whole other thing. So the Wrestlers Strike Back this Sunday night at the Concord Music Theater, which will segue into our guest next week, because next week on this show, the maestro of the Super Wrestlers, Billy Wack, makes his third appearance on our show to talk about what the hell happened at Strikes Back, and to help us know if in a few months we will see the return of the Super Wrestlers or revenge of the Super Wrestlers to complete the trilogy. You'll have questions for Billy Wack, won't you?
I think so.
I'll have questions for Billy Wack. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight for this special Friday night edition of the Power Hour. We missed C-Red. Rachel was here, but only for a little bit. Friday night is a tough night, but in order to get Shawna Reed here, we had to accommodate her, and we're happy we did. There, of course, is Billy Wack. He's our guest next week. One final thought, if you'll indulge me. You've been watching social media the past couple of days, right?
I don't have a choice. I mean, you always have a choice, but that's one other thing to say.
The grief and the sadness experienced by the fans in losing not only Terry Funk, but Bray Wyatt, has had a profound effect on many people. I can't remember the last time I saw this many posts about how people are affected by the passing of two men. And, you know, Terry Funk obviously set the bar for extreme violence. I mean, he's done things in league with nobody. And then Bray Wyatt is the most unique character we've seen in wrestling in a good long time.
Agreed.
In every iteration that he had. These are two people that blazed trails in their own way. And Terry was a little older.
73.
And, you know, you figure maybe he'd have another 10 years or so, but he's gone. But he lived a life. He lived a life. 73 is
He lived multiple lives.
he lived multiple lives. Bray Wyatt at 36 didn't live enough. Didn't live enough. They say gone too soon, and this really means it. I'm 53. I had almost twice, no, not almost twice. I had significantly more life than he had.
I just turned 45.
So to lose somebody young with such a bright future it's affected everybody. The Terry Funk passing was bad because, you know, everybody loved what Terry Funk brought to the business. He made the business what it was for there are certain things in wrestling that happen because Terry Funk came first. But being older, everybody goes at some point. Bray Wyatt was just coming back and now suddenly taken from us. So it's two different kind of passings. And I think it's really shaken the wrestling fandom on X and on Instagram and on social media. It's been a real rough couple of days watching everybody, you know, pour their hearts out. You feel the emotion. It's not just people looking for attention as social media can be. It's people saying, man, this meant something to me and this hurts my feelings. I wish this didn't happen. So Red will say this on the show all the time. He says it often. Hug your loved ones tonight because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, we see each other weekly. We talk weekly. We see each other at shows. But I'm going to hug you extra long tonight because, you know, you never know. And that's not lost upon me. So to each of you that watched tonight, we thank you. And we appreciate you. And we hope you do okay. And we hope you are feeling okay. And we send love from the Power Hour because love needs to be sent. Thoughts?
You want honest thoughts?
I do.
Okay. I hope that everyone that decides to watch this, especially after, because I'm pretty sure that 90% of the community is watching the tribute as we speak. That's on SmackDown for Bray Wyatt and hopefully for Terry Funk as well. Are able, and I know this is going to sound very weird, but I hope that they have an opportunity to get their emotions out now. And I know that sounds very like cold and like in the way that I'm like saying it, but I just, and this is just based on my own personal experiences with someone that you know that has been in the business is gone suddenly. Like whenever someone leaves suddenly, it shakes you. But a lot of times you have a chance to take a minute and process it and go from there. Whereas in this instance, and this is as far as the local scene, as far as just this weekend alone, you have SCW coming up, you have Frontline coming up, you have IPW coming up the day after, you have Super Wrestlers coming up. with a sport or with like wrestling is built off of emotion. And this is what we're starting with for the weekend. I am asking everyone to get as much emotion that you can out now, because it's only going to get even worse within the next couple of days. And I know it's not, I'm not trying to make it to where it's a joke, but I just want you to understand. Like, I understand everyone's grief. I get it. I like way more than people could possibly understand. But I also know going into these shows, like, it's one thing if someone dies, you have a funeral, and you have like you have a time to like process and actually grieve. You don't get that in wrestling.
No,
This show must go on.
suit them and boot
And
them.
you got to do it. You just got to do it.
Suit up and boot up.
And the fact that people are going to suit and boot up potentially 4 times in 2 days prior to this.
Oh yeah.
Gives yourself time to grieve. Because I just know what I see. There's going to be a lot going on this weekend. And I hope that everyone from a local standpoint that's going to be within the Wisconsin, Chicagoland, like in this immediate area with these 4 shows happening within 2 days, I hope that if you don't get a chance to actually grieve properly, at least you will be surrounded by loved ones accordingly. And I truly hope that if you don't get a chance to just get it out, take a chance to take one of these shows and do it there. Because reality will hit you at a certain point. And I would much have I'd rather have a memory of something fun that happened out of this other than this passing that has taken place. I'd rather take the negative and put it into a positive, so to speak. But I do stand by the idea that get the grieving part out now. Because if you are in the area, the next couple days does not favor you at all. There's a lot going on in the next couple days.
A lot.
From a mental standpoint, I am asking, grieve properly. That's all I have.
Well, that's one to grow on. Thank you to Shawna Reed, our guest tonight. We appreciate you. We'll see you Saturday night at Steam Hollow. Next week, Billy Wack returns to the show. We'll talk all about the super wrestlers. And, we'll talk a little. We're heading into Labor Day. We'll talk about that too. And we'll probably talk a fair amount about Fall Brawl. For Rion Skills, The Real Deal, I'm Steve. See Red. Rachel, we missed you. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching the Power Hour and have a pleasant evening.